Dana White's Contender Series Week 10 of Season 8. The last episode in Season 8 came with 4 contract winners. Here they are below in the picture. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Who you think deserved a contract, who didn't get a contract that you think deserves a contract. Let me know your thoughts on the entire season as a whole. But let's get into what happened last night at the Contender Series. So, get out of here, ad. All these damn ads all over the place. My goodness. Jonathan Micallef, coming out of Australia, was taking on Mohamed Adu. Mohamed Adu was a highly touted prospect, kind of suspect when it comes to his recent run of opponents, but Jonathan Micallef, he had a fantastic grappling strategy coming into this one. They had a bit of a scramble on the ground. These guys are 2 welterweights, fought it out, bit of back and forth on the ground, and ultimately Micallef came up with a triangle choke, got it done in the first round. It was a pretty quick submission, but I don't know if he really deserves a contract off of this. We'll talk about that in just a minute. And then Julieta Martinez, 20 years old, young, baby-faced fighter, was taking on Leslie Hernandez. This was a fun fight. Julieta was not ready. She was very nervous. You could tell she was nervous from the get-go. And Leslie Hernandez absolutely put it on her in the first round. I did not know if she would even survive the first round. Leslie Hernandez has great boxing. She comes from a Taekwondo background. She's got a couple of accolades in the grappling. But man, in that second round, Dora the Explorer herself, the young Julieta Martinez, only 20 years old, came out and beat up on her in the second round. Got the takedowns going, got the grappling going, got the kicks going. She hit her with a couple of kicks, almost hit her with a spinning back heel kick. It was absolutely fantastic. Coming out of Argentina, had a lot of Argentinian fans, had Dominic Cruz in her corner. She looked like just a smart fighter after the nerves went away. It was her first fight on the big stage. She's 8-0, only had 8 fights. Leslie Hernandez has even less fights than her, but she looked like just the more composed and ready to go fighter in there. But Julieta Martinez just wanted it more. She fought tooth and nail, won the second round unanimously, and then the third round was very close, but she got her grappling going, sat on her for quite a bit, got some elbows going in the ground and pound. It was absolutely fantastic. Dana White after the fight said that she's just not ready. She's too young. She's not prepared for the UFC. Then why have her on? Why would you even give her the opportunity if you don't think she's ready yet? Why wouldn't you just let her build herself more? Anyway, this was a chance to get her out into the public eye, maybe. That's what they're going for. Try to build her up in terms of a star. She's young. She's cute. She's just got this entire, innocent young girl kind of persona, aura to her. She's just very, very... I don't even know what the right word is. She's just very creative, very young. She's a young MMA fighter coming up. She's well-rounded. That's what counts. She's just young and a little green. She's just a little bit open here and there in the defense. A little bit too aggressive in the stand-up. Some things like that. And I think to get her out here and then not even give her a contract despite a great win, you don't have to get a finish in Dana White's Contender Series to get a contract in my mind. You just have to impress and show that you're a great, well-rounded MMA fighter. Julieta Martinez, I'd argue if you had her on here and let her get this big win, just let her in the UFC. There's girls in the UFC that suck, that do not deserve to be there, that you could let her beat up on for a year or two and then build her up into the, not top 15, but top 30, top 25, top 20, that kind of realm. And you could get her up here by the time she's 25 and be ready to go in terms of the top levels of the division. She's also very undersized for the division as well. If they had an atom weight class, she would definitely be doing very well. Next up, we had Yadier Devalier versus Antonio Montero. Montero, absolute scrapper. This guy has got 23 fights or something like that as a professional fighter in the regional scene, and Yadier is undefeated at 8-0. Antonio Montero, just a tough scrapper. I feel that he really just failed this time because he was just too one-dimensional. He was trying to strike too much, and Yadier had everything for him. He was very well-rounded, showed that he has mixed martial arts. He can grapple, he can take guys down, he can do ground and pound, he can use his jiu-jitsu a little bit, try to throw up chokes. Didn't really get anything. Tried a couple of submissions, but didn't get anything. Antonio Montero has a hell of a chin. It was one of the best fights I've ever seen on the Contender Series. 2 guys that absolutely went balls to wall in the first round, got exhausted in the second round. It was super sloppy, super gross, just nasty, gritty fighting in the second round. Then in the third round, they both got a rest, and they came with everything that they had left in the tank and put it out all on the line. Put everything they owned, everything they had left in the tank, put it out there. and had a fantastic third round. Yadier ultimately won the fight 2-3 unanimous decision. He gets the win here. Fought through a tough, gritty, Terminator-style fighter in Montero. Montero showed that he can hang with anybody. He just didn't quite have it all. He let Yadier beat him up on the ground, let him knee to the body, clinch up on him, beat him up in the clinch, beat him up on the ground. Had some strikes going with elbows from Yadier, and Montero was just kind of throwing mostly punches, mostly a boxer. And that's ultimately what failed him. Good for Yadier. The next one was Luis Garul, however you pronounce that, and Nick Piccinini. Piccinini came out hot. He was absolutely blazing to start that fight, but Garul just has the experience advantage over him. He's been fighting in MMA longer than Piccinini has, and he showed that. He outstruck him on the feet. He just had the better shots. He landed the stronger, heavier punches and did more damage on the feet. Piccinini was kind of just landing pitter-pat shots. It's flyweight. Not a lot of them have power, but Piccinini is a grappler. He came in here as a wrestler, and he just didn't get the job done. Split decision. It was a close fight. I think Piccinini's more interesting as a prospect because he's got more facets to the game. Garul's more like Montero, where he's kind of one-dimensional, but he's just a gritty, nasty veteran who knows how to win, and that's what he proved today. And then finally, the main event. Geraldo Souza, a highly touted grappler coming into this one. Nick Klein, just a scrapper, hadn't fought in 6 months. He's only a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. Geraldo Souza, highly touted in the jiu-jitsu realm coming into this one, was favored to get this submission big time, and Nick Klein just came in there, blitzed him, ran through him, beat the shit out of him for like 5 seconds, and then got the submission, latched up that neck quickly, and just held on to it and rode it to victory. Not much else to say there. Very impressive from Nick Klein. He knew what he came there to do. He had a game plan, and he just stuck to it the entire time. So let's look at the contract winners. Mikhailov, I think he's a little green. I think it was a little bit too back and forth for my liking. Yes, he got the finish. Yes, it was impressive against his opponent. I just don't know if he really deserves it. I don't know if he's ready yet for the UFC. I don't think he showed enough oomph, like Klein or like Dwcs showed. Dwcs showed every facet of mixed martial arts. I love to see that from him. He mixed it up, and he showed that he wanted to win it no matter what. He left everything out there on the cage, exhausted, and still came out and put on a great performance in round 3. That guy deserves a contract because he showed every realm of mixed martial arts, and he fought tooth and nail to get a victory with a guy who just could not be finished. You do not have to get finishes just to win. I disagree with Metcalf's contract. I think Dwcs deserves a contract for sure, and he got it. So that's 1 of 2 so far. Garul, he out-veteraned Piccinini. Piccinini was the better prospect coming into this. They wanted Piccinini to win. Obviously, that was the case. He's well-rounded. He's a grappler. He's a wrestler coming out of the United States. And Garul's just a guy who's been wish-washing around. Good for him. He got the win. He showed his veteran attitude, showed that he's a smart fighter. I like him. He's a good, entertaining guy, but I just don't think he deserves a UFC contract right now. We've got enough of these guys hanging around. Maybe the new blood, maybe the aggression will come out in the UFC. That's what I'm hoping for, but I just don't think he deserved a contract. And then Klein, massive underdog against a grappler, not a grappler himself really, came in there and just ran him over with grappling, used a submission to lock up a choke and just put it on the guy and did not let go, used his strength to get it done. How far will this guy go in the UFC? I'm not so sure. He hasn't fought in a long time. He wants to get back in the ring quickly. He wants to get back in the cage as soon as possible. Klein and Dwcs are my 2 picks, my personal choices for who deserves a contract tonight. And I also think Julieta Martinez should have gotten a contract because she's a young, attractive, fun fighter. And that's what people in the UFC want to see. Why hold her out if not to just promote her? You used her in this fight, you took advantage of her and boosted her profile to make a bigger star without having to pay her the big bucks in the UFC. That's not really cool. You could have let her fight some fighters that absolutely stink in the UFC. And then in eventually a couple of years, you let her move on. She's fun to watch. She throws crazy kicks. She's good in the grappling. She's well-rounded. So are Dwcs and Klein, and they proved that tonight. They deserve contracts. Let me know what you guys think about the whole card. Like I said in the beginning, the whole season. Let me know down below. Season 8, how does it stack up against the other seasons? How many of these contract winners do you think even deserved it as a whole on the entire Season 8? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one.